In these perilous times, see from current events how biblical prophecy is coming to pass in front of our eyes. You're watching In the Last Days, the program that looks at Israel and the end times with teaching from a Hebraic perspective. With Martin and Natalie Blackham. Thank you to our friends and partners who make this program possible. Now, here's Martin and Natalie.
Hi, welcome to the In the Last Days television program with myself, Martin Blackham. Natalie says hi, she's behind the scenes today. It's great to be with you. Thank you so much for joining us. We're the program that looks at Israel. We look at the news, we look at features from Israel. Now, if you saw the program last week, we had a very special guest on the show, Shadi Khalloul from the Israeli Aramaic Christian Maronite community in the Galilee, and we were talking about the fact that the community's been there for a long, long time, for hundreds to thousands of years. You've been in the Galilee, and so the Christians have been living in Israel for many, many years. But it's only recently that they've started to have rights in Israel, started to even, in fact, I don't want to beat you to it, but your son has become the first Israeli citizen to be recognized as an Aramaean Christian, yes, and not as an Arab Christian, exactly, which is very important for the Aramaean society, Aramaic society. And great to have you with us. So Shadi Khalloul is from the Israeli Aramaic Christian Maronite communities from Kfar Benan. He's come all the way from Galilee, in the north of Israel, and he served as a lieutenant in the paratrooper division of the Israeli army. He's chairman of the Aramaic Christian Association and was a spokesman for the IDF Christian Soldiers Forum for 2 years, and he was also a candidate for Knesset. So you've had a bit of politics. You've been involved with Avigdor Lieberman's Yisrael Beitenu party, standing for the Israeli Knesset. You campaign for the rights of the Christian community in Israel, and you've had meetings with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu regarding the Israeli Christian community. So for those, maybe there was a few people who didn't catch last week's television program, but maybe you could just reintroduce yourself for our audience.
Thank you again, Martin, and everyone for allowing us and myself to be known to the Christian public worldwide. We are of Christian Aramaic origins, indigenous population of the Middle East. Our population has ethnically Aramaic roots. We exist here since ever. I can say the Aramaic people, Abraham himself was of Aramaean heritage. He was from Aramaean sect. Isaac, Jacob, when probably Jesus spoke Aramaic in this land, in the Galilee, in our areas where we live today, and he recited, my father was a wandering Aramaean. And my father wasn't wandering Aramaean. He recited that, and we still preserving this heritage and this language in the Galilee in its Syriac Aramaic accent. And we pray in Aramaic. We some of us actually was forced to convert to Muslims in all region of Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq. But do
you think many people know about this? That the Christians, the indigenous Christians of the Middle East, have disappeared. Some of them obviously left or were killed, but a lot of them converted to Islam.
Exactly.
Do you think people in the West know about this?
No, they don't know about it, because the Arabism actually is a mask that actually hid all this truth. Now, when you say Arabism, it is the pan-Arabist nationalist that try to spread lies that Middle East is of Arab origin. It is not of Arab origin. What is Arab is Saudi Arabia, is the Arab Peninsula. This is the origin of Arabs. All the other areas, Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, was of Aramaic and Jewish Hebrew heritage. This is the fact. But people try to, or it's easy with having money, of oil money, to spread lies and propagandas. And people, when you every time tell them every day in these media that they have for Western people, supported by Arabs, oil countries, if every day you will tell them lies, 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 at the end you will believe this lie. So this is what happened to us as a Christian Aramaic. And today, thanks God, under Israel, we enjoy freedom compared to other Arab countries where they fear for their lives, and from extremists that would hurt them if they speak like us freely in Israel. We have the opportunity to be registered again as Arameans, not Armenians. Don't be confused with Armenians. Armenians are different, are Hindu-Arab people, more of European roots. We are Semitic people of Aramaic Syriac roots. The Maronite community itself is more of Lebanon, are actually the creator of what we call today Lebanon, that is occupied by Arabic and Islamic forces, if it's Hezbollah or before by Palestinians who try to destroy it, like Fatah Party and the Arafat and all this that destroyed Lebanon and persecuted Christians there, and the Christian revolted against them, or if it is in Syria or in other places. This is the reality of us. And today, for example, I show the audience, this is what we are registered. We were at the beginning of establishing Israel, we were registered as Arabs in nationality, Christians in our religion. But today, after 7 years of heading our Aramaic organization, myself, I am a chairman. I founded that after returning from USA. I was studying in USA and came back and established this organization in order to revive and preserve our Aramaic heritage. And we succeeded in September 2014 after Gideon Sa'ar, the interior minister at that time, recognized our Aramaic identity by nationality as Israeli citizens, and we finally fixed this mistake. And today my son was the first actually son to be registered as Aramaic, and I followed him, and other people tried or starting following him to register themselves as properly should be Aramaic people, which has common roots with the Jews and want to live together. We don't want to fight the Jews. We don't want to fight the Arabs. We want to live with everyone in peace, but let them recognize my identity as I recognize their identity and heritage and culture. As a Christian, I want to live with everyone, and Israel here allows us to have this opportunity of living peacefully. Of course, there's nothing is 100%, like there's nothing 100% even in Europe or in USA or in England, in UK or Australia. But in Israel, we still have a democracy. The democracy of Jewish people, that every citizen, Christian, Aramaic, or Christian of whatever ethnicity, or Arab, Muslim, enjoy this democracy of the Jewish people.
Now, you also met Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. There was meetings with him. How has Netanyahu reacted to the Aramean community and the Christian community of Israel?
I will tell you a story that not a lot of people heard about it from our personal meeting to advocate the Christian case and the Aramaic case of our people in Israel. When I met in his office, he said to me, let me show you something. I told him, I want you to fix this issue of we are not Arabs. We don't want to be Arabs, not because we hate Arabs. It's not me. It is like you telling me, I am a man, but you come and tell me, no, you are a woman. I'm not. Or I am a woman, you tell me you are a man. It is not such. If I'm Aramaic, I'm not an Arab. If I'm an Arab, I'm not an Aramaic. And I have the right for self-determination or recognition of my identity. And he said, look, I have a surprise for you. And he took me to the corner of his office, and he showed me little stone, and there's engraved by a script in it of letters, Aramaic letters, old Hebrew even letters, I called it, Canaanite, Phoenician letters. It's written in it, and it was, they gave it a gift for him from the Temple Mount, from the Western Wall. It was, that was in excavation there, written in it in Aramaic, Netanyahu.
Wow.
And he said, I know what you're talking about. My father, his father, he said, was a historian, and he wrote a book about your identity and yourself, and I'm happy now that you came out with this case, and finally we have some Christians start asking for be registered as their Aramaic roots. And actually we succeeded until under his government to be registered as Aramaic.
Did you have meetings with Gideon Saar as well?
Oh, so not one. It was long struggle. I had meeting before with Eli Ishai, Orthodox party from Shas. He didn't understand much about what we're talking about. And once Gideon Saar was interior minister, I went for meeting with him about 3 times. First time I explained, I took all our books, huge books, old antique Aramaic books that we still preserve. I took recommendations from our churches. I took people's signatures of our people that they are they recognize themselves or they want to be registered as Aramaic population. And I explained about the persecution of the Christians, Aramaic of the Middle East, how they actually for 1,400 years under Islamic Arab occupation of the Middle East, include Israel, they were forced to become or adopt to Arabic language and Arabic culture, but originally our ethnicity is not. So he heard things that nobody heard before from them, because if you don't tell, it is yours. If you don't tell others about you, they wouldn't have, the energy to go and look after you. They hear what people, okay, Arab, Jews, and that's it. Or black or white, but it's not black and white in Israel.
Do you think, Shadi, that there was some reluctance because maybe they didn't want to confuse the issues that they've already got, a lot of issues with populations inside of Israel, and maybe they didn't want to confuse the issue with the Arab population, or? Look,
I don't know, but the Arab population, for example, they now claim it is called divide and conquer. That's what they claim. But I can tell them very easily that we have these books in our church for 2,000 years, this book from like 300 years, this book, and it is written in Aramaic language. It is, even there is no one word in Arabic language. So, and this is, as you see, here is the cross. This is a book of prayers from Syriac Maronite Church of Antioch, which I belong to. So our church is 1,700 years exist. From the 4th century, it is the followers of Saint Maroon, a Syriac Aramaic monk who lived in near Aleppo, which was called at that time the under Aramaic, different Aramaic kingdoms. Kingdom of Aram Damascus, Kingdom of Aram Tsoba, Kingdom of Aram Naharaim. All these Aramaic kingdoms is called today Syria. And the Greek who they are the ones who called it Syria. So Syria is of Aramaic heritage, and it was controlled and occupied by the Arabs. We exist before here, before them in this area, and the Jews don't need to come to divide me in order to whatever they think the Arabs trying to do in order to control. In Lebanon, I give you very modern example. In Lebanon, the population of Lebanon, state of Lebanon today, are divided to different denominations. In identity, they call group of people written for them in their identity cards Maronites, Christian Orthodox, Sunnis, Shiites, Druze, and everyone under his own denomination or ethnicity. So, or religious group. So the Israelis didn't divide them. They are divided because everyone wanted to preserve their own heritage, culture, and identity. And the same with us. Israel don't need to divide me. It was our request to fix our deep feeling of unjust when they wrote us at the beginning of the establishment of Israel as Arabs, because they came from Europe, the Jews, most of them at that time. They created this country. They didn't know that the Christians here are of indigenous Christians who were of Aramaic
Which is funny,
ethnicity.
Shadi, because it's just like today. You know, a lot of our viewers may not appreciate that there is an indigenous Christian community in Israel, that they're not just Christians who wandered from the Torah group and decided to stay in a house in the Galilee, but you are here for thousands of years. Now, if they want to come and visit you, whereabouts are you in the Galilee?
I live in Gush Khalav. Gush Khalav. It's a biblical village of Jewish heritage. I can say that for Jewish your Jewish audience that hears you, that John from Gush Khalav was the leader of the revolution against the Romans at that time. Once Gush Khalav was a Jewish population 2,000 years ago, and from this village, the parents of Saint Paul, were migrated from Gush Khalav to Tarsus in Syria, and Saint Paul originally his parents from this village, and most likely that Jesus, when he went out from the Kinneret or from the Sea of the Galilee out to Sidon, which is Tyre in Lebanon, and made the miracle with the Syro-Aramaic Phoenician woman, and it's written in the Bible. All is written. It's written, and the definition of this woman, the Syro-Phoenician woman. This is their identity. Jesus didn't divide this woman and tell her, you are not Arab, you are Syro-Phoenician. This is our identity. We are of Aramaic, Syro-Phoenician. The Phoenicians and the Arameans were the original people of this land.
And because of the conquest of Islam in the Middle East,
and the Pan-Arabists,
that destroy Christian, which even today it isn't that it's in history, but even today the Christian communities are being destroyed in Iraq and across Syria. The total destruction of communities who've lived there for hundreds of thousands of years have been in these areas, like your community was in Israel. So when the Jewish people returned to the land of Israel, they were so concerned with trying to put a little army together to fight all the different nations. Suddenly they had this community in the north of the Galilee, and it got almost kind of forgotten. Now, if there are viewers watching today who'd like to help and have been very interested to hear what you're saying about the community in the Galilee, what are the things that you need help?
For example, we need lots of help of helping us with our projects in employment projects, for integrating our community, to strengthen, to show that our path of reconnecting our roots together, the common roots with the Jewish people, because our patriarch before the Israel establishment in 1937, and in 1947 we gave recommendation, our church gave recommendation to establishment of Israel as a Jewish state and Lebanon as a Christian state, and having together a closely relationship and peaceful relationship. And everyone love peace. We need all this peace. But unfortunately, Islam and Arabs tried to destroy this connection, and for this reason, they used all their oil money. We don't have finance from anyone. We need the people who believe on this roots, common roots, and the coexistence with the Jews to help us as Christians, as our organization, to find good job for good positions for our people. We need to, we are planning to build, for example, centers for employment in Galilee. So people of our population, or people from our population, can go there. We help them to find jobs, to open for them opportunities in different ways, to educate them in different specific positions that are needed in Israel. This needs people to guide them. The people need professionals to guide them, and we lack that. The Arabs has, we don't have. The Jews has, we don't have.
And what's happening in a lot of communities today, which is across the world and not just in Israel, is that a lot of people are having to move for work. So they move to Tel Aviv or to Jerusalem or to Haifa or to a city to find work. Is it difficult for the Aramaic Christian Maronites who live in the Galilee to find work, because a lot of the industry and industrial zones and
well, yes, we face this problem as well. We don't have enough, let's say, industrial parks. We don't have our own companies. We go like any other Israelis to find jobs in big cities, and let's say the danger on that our population are getting less and less in its original villages. They go to the big cities in Haifa and Tel Aviv and whatever, which is good, but they lose the majority on this village, and we lose our culture this way. The villages in the north, if we have a good industrial parks, good companies that can, how you call it, get them good job or offer them good jobs, these people are educated in good universities of Israel. They can find in high-tech, invest in electronic companies, in high-tech software companies, different companies, and stay on their villages and prosper on the Galilee. This is a need for us today. Beside the summer camps that we do projects of educational, like Sunday schools in the villages. We have a project of we call it increasing awareness. We go from one village to another village for a Christian, to build the Christian conferences and talk about the Christian identity. Some of these Christians don't know even about their identity because they are under Arab section. They were under Arab section for 67 years until today, and they were taught as the Islamic Arab section. And when you teach someone for 67 years, you have an Islamic heritage or Arab heritage, which is the same system like Islam, then he would be like confused. Okay, am I an Arab? Am I an Aramaic? Am I Jewish? What am I? I am lost. So that's why it's important to go for this project, to increase awareness, to talk with people, and it is a lot, and it needs a lot of, let's say, funds and work. And of course, if we have it, we will succeed, because the other side he knows exactly how to finance the other people who don't want peace with Israel, that want to, I can tell you, unfortunately, the Arabs don't want Israel to be as a Jewish state. This is obviously, that's why we see the struggle. They want Israel, they want the Jews and Christians to be dhimmis under their Islamic Arab control or the Islamic State. This is the ideal goal for them. If they succeed, this would be perfect. But they don't say it. Now we have ISIS. He exposed everything. But this is a positive on it. But the bad thing, it is destroying our communities totally. And thanks God, again, we have Jewish people that start understanding our case. And hopefully they will help us as well, because we are of same destiny. What will happen to them in Israel will happen to us as a Christian indigenous population. We have no other destiny under Islamic Sharia states. And this is what's going to be in their Palestinian state if they will allow this state to be established. Palestinian state means of Islamic Sharia law. It is number 2 principle under the Palestinian constitution. It is written, Palestine would be ruled under Islamic Sharia law. Under Islamic Sharia law, I am a dhimmi. You as a Jew, maybe you would be a dhimmi. He as a Druze would be a dhimmi. Any other community that is not Muslim, of Islamic religion are dhimmis. Is that what we need for this region? Of course not. We need democracy, another democracy. If it's not going to happen, it's better not to do it.
I'm not Jewish, but it's okay.
I know you are not Jewish, but I'm giving an example.
But the issue, I don't think that a lot of people, I mean, a lot of our audience will understand the issues with Israel being a Jewish state and the Christian, and will today, and thank you so much for coming in, because they will suddenly start to realize that there's a Christian community and it's something you can really help with. And the details have been on the screen, how you can help with the Israeli Aramaic Christian Maronite community in the Galilee. We've completely out of time, so thank you so much for coming across.
Thank you.
Very interesting program, and thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget you can email us at info@inthelastdays.com, and remember, we're living in the last days.
You've been watching In the Last Days, a TV program with Martin and Natalie Blackham, the program that looks at Israel and the end times with teaching from a Hebraic perspective. If you would like to financially support the program or find out about conferences, meetings, or ministry products, then please contact us with the details on your screen. Visit our easy-to-use website at www.inthelastdays.com and register for our free e-newsletter. Get the latest news from Israel, product information, online video teaching, or watch today's TV program at a time that's convenient to you. Thank you again, friends and partners, for making this program possible.
See you same time, same station for the next program from In the Last Days.